I will never understand why Black churches would invite Michael Bloomberg, knowing the kind of history he has with the Black community, which is horrible. He has a horrible track record. But yet these churches keep inviting him, opening their doors, and I will never understand why. When does it get to the point where you have more loyalty for your people than these politicians? I guess when it comes down to money, money can persuade you to do anything. And it's a damn shame when pastors in this country are more concerned about money than their own congregation and the kind of things that a Michael Bloomberg does to their own people when in political power. All of these folks have proven to do nothing but turn on us once they're in political office. But they want to come around like a John looking for a whore when election time comes. It's just sickening, you know? And I'm also disappointed that more people in this congregation did not stand up and turn their backs to Michael Bloomberg. It would have been nice if everybody was in solidarity together against him, but I guess we can't expect that, y'all. We get what we can get. Let me go ahead and play this video. This came out of CNN Politics, March 1st, 2020.
Michael Bloomberg got a bit of a frosty reception when he was speaking at Brown AME Church, just a mile from where we are right now. And as he was speaking about his Greenwood Plan, which is a plan for economic justice for Black Americans, several attendees in the church stood up and turned their backs to Michael Bloomberg. We haven't gotten a chance to speak to those people just yet, but there have been some questions about how exactly Michael Bloomberg would perform among Black voters due to his past support of initiatives like his stop and frisk policy. And Alabama, the state that we are in, is a Super Tuesday state with a significant Black voter population. Black voters made up a majority of the Democratic primary electorate back here in 2016. And Michael Bloomberg has poured significant resources into this state as it's one of the first contests where he will actually appear on the ballot.
Michael Bloomberg.
Look, it's no secret that we live in polarized.
Michael Bloomberg is hilarious. Now, you do these heinous acts and you believe that you flood your cops in Black and Latino communities to harass the citizens and treat them like dirt. Them, the men, the women, the children. For all those years you were in office, and now we're supposed to clean the slate and act like it never happened? That just seems weird to me. But this is how many of these folks think. They really think they do these little heinous things to you, but you're supposed to put on a pair of blinders just to make them feel better. I don't have to do that. And neither does anyone else in the Black community. So a group of churchgoers Sunday turned their backs to former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg as he addressed a historic Brown Chapel AME church in Selma, Alabama. They just love going to Black churches, don't they? They love the hell out of going to Black churches. A group of at least 9 people took part in a protest as Bloomberg spoke during the 55th commemoration of Bloody Sunday, a historic civil rights march in 1965 where 17 people were injured by police as they attempted to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma during their march to Montgomery, Alabama, to demand their right to vote for Black people. Bloomberg was the first Democratic presidential candidate to address the congregation Sunday as he spoke about his Greenwood initiative, which he launched in Tulsa, Oklahoma in January to address systematic bias that has kept many Black Americans from gaining wealth. Several people sitting in the church pews stood up and turned their backs to him. During his campaign, Bloomberg has faced repeated criticism over policies that impacted minority communities, including the controversial stop and frisk policy strategy. Yeah, which locked up many Black people that should never have been locked up, who were harassed and targeted by police just for the simple fact that they were Black and for no other reason. During his campaign, okay, I read that, and first introducing Bloomberg Sunday, Reverend Lee Otis Strong told the group that when he first invited Bloomberg to Brown Chapel, Bloomberg told him, "I've got to beat Donald Trump. I don't have time to go to Brown Chapel." Strong said he threw away the paper he had with Bloomberg's information, disappointed, but Strong told the group that some of Bloomberg's people reached out, and after thinking about it, I thought it was important for Mayor Bloomberg on his journey, wherever he ends up, that before he gets there and on his way, it is important that he has the opportunity to listen and learn from people like you and you and me on this one. Well, that reverend need to have his ass kicked above his shoulders, okay? This reverend is full of shit. You didn't have to have Michael Bloomberg at your church. Again, when do you get to the point in time of showing more loyalty to your people than a politician? When do we get there? He continued, I think it's important for Mr. Bloomberg, Mayor Bloomberg, to hear from you, to listen to you, to learn from you. And this will allow Terry Reynolds and some of us, some of you, to keep him informed about what is important to you. Does that make any sense to you? No, you should keep Bloomberg out of your church. Show loyalty to your people. Mayor Bloomberg. Bloomberg then greeted the group before the former mayor of New York launched his remarks that were protested. Strong addressed the congregation again, saying, "I think it's important that he came, that he came." So he came. So, oh my goodness, this pastor is pathetic. And it shows a willingness on his part to change. No, it doesn't. It shows that he wants the presidency so bad that he's willing to come around the people that he attempted to destroy. Man has no scruples. He doesn't care about Black folks. He cares about winning the presidency. And then once he gets in that position, he's going to screw the Black community over again. And I think that's important. And I want to thank him for coming, for being here. Mike sat through the whole service from start to finish. So he sat through a service at a Black church. So what? Who was supposed to see that as a big deal? Takes courage to show up, said Bloomberg, aide in response to CNN's request for comment on protesters who turned their backs on Bloomberg. Former Vice President Joe Biden also spoke at the service, and the two 2020 presidential candidates received different reactions. Why? You should have turned your back on Biden too. Okay, because look at his track record with the Black community. Boy, if these people could just get it right once, the congregation could be heard cheering and clapping as Biden became visible to them in the church. He walked up and sat in a chair in the center behind the pulpit next to Reverend Al Sharpton. Oh, please. And after Alabama Democratic Rep Terry Sewell, who has endorsed him, while Bloomberg observed the service from the front pew. During her remarks, Sewell praised Biden for his work in the African American community, praised him, even going so far as to note that he took on banks to combat the redlining that made it Oh, this is painful. Near impossible for African Americans to buy homes, Bloomberg has come under fire for his comments at the height of the housing crisis in 2008 that the end of redlining, the biased housing practice that stopped banks from providing mortgages in low income, largely minority neighborhoods, was to blame for the collapse. So Bloomberg was blaming the Black community for the collapse. Mm, mm, mm. Wow. Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could say these politicians wouldn't be coming back to churches, but I know they're opening their door to churches. And you can best believe this pastor, the reason why he's such a big cheerleader for Michael Bloomberg is because Michael Bloomberg probably more than likely shelled out money to him. Let's be real. This man has been throwing money around like water for quite some time since he's been in this campaign. So, look, he gave money to the church that allowed him to apologize. He gave them a couple of $1 million. So it's not far fetched to believe, even to believe that he probably did the same thing at this church. Oh, man. Mm-mm-mm. Wow. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.